It was a cold December morning in 1783, and George Washington walked into the Maryland State House with the kind of swagger you earn from 8 years of war and 0 years of rest. The room fell silent. This was not just any day. This was the day the most powerful man in the newborn United States would give away that power like it was a precious family jewel. His boots hit the marble floor with the rhythm of a funeral drum, not because someone had died, but because something was about to be buried. That something was the world's obsession with kings. Washington approached Congress in full military uniform, every button and braid still stained with the blood and grime from the Revolution. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of history pressing against his chest. He had led a ragtag group of farmers and blacksmiths into battle against the greatest empire on earth and won. Now people wanted to hand him a crown. They offered him the title of king. They were serious. After all, that is what people knew. You win a war, you wear a crown. Alexander the Great did it. Julius Caesar tried it. King George of England, King Louis of France, and King Charles of Spain all wore the crown following a victory at war. George Washington was different. He stood tall, cleared his throat, and refused to be crowned as king. He told Congress, "I resign my commission." Just like that. No fanfare, no TikTok transition video, no military parade with EDM DJs and dancers. He handed back the power he could have clung to like a corrupt geriatric politician. The room sat stunned. Some of them wept. And when Thomas Jefferson heard what Washington had done, he said it was the greatest thing a man had ever done for his country. It was unprecedented. It was monumental. Now let us put this in modern terms. Imagine if King Salman, supreme ruler of Saudi Arabia, who runs a tight ship, to say the least. He runs the entire economy, has his face on every billboard, wins literal wars with American weapons, and then walked into their version of the White House, looks at the government and said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm going back to my camel farm. Someone else can run the government." And then actually went back to his farm. That is what George did. He walked away from being king, not because he was weak, but because he was wise. Here is a fun fact for your Monday brain. King George III of England, the same guy Washington fought against, heard about the potential resignation and said, "If he does that, he will be the greatest man in the world." Let that sink in. The dude he just beat, the British big bad boss himself, basically admitted that walking away from power takes more guts than winning a war. Why? Because real strength is restraint. It is knowing you could dominate, but choosing to serve instead. It is knowing you could manipulate, but choosing to lead with integrity. And that, my friends, is the rarest kind of power. The kind you do not need to brag about. The kind that does not require a gold-plated toilet or a private island. It is the kind that echoes for centuries. That decision shaped America more than any musket, revolver, or AR-15 ever could. By rejecting monarchy, Washington put the nation on a course that allowed you and me to live in a country where we vote instead of bow, where we question authority instead of licking its boots. At least, we were supposed to. These days, it feels like some people want a new kind of king, a tech king, a political messiah, a blue check mark with a God complex. Let me be clear. Worshiping politicians is un-American. Idolizing celebrities is unhealthy. Believing that any institution has your best interests at heart without proof is like believing in the Big Bang Theory. Government is not God. Church is not pure. Power corrupts, and unchecked power corrupts faster than a Taco Bell burrito left out in the sun. George Washington knew that. That is why he dipped. Maybe some members of Congress need to follow this example. But screw them. What does that mean for you? Today, maybe you're stuck in traffic, sipping gas station coffee and wondering why the world hates you. It means you have to be your own Washington, in your family, in your workplace, in your own mind. You have to know when to step up and lead and when to step back and listen. You have to know when to flex and when to flow. That does not mean being a conspiracy junkie who thinks drinking fluoride-laced water prevents cavities. It means refusing to get played like a fiddle by corporate news or Americans with foreign allegiances. It means doing your homework before you cast a vote. It means looking at policies, not personalities. And sometimes it means walking away from tribal loyalty the way Washington walked away from absolute power. Be the person who does not fall for golden crowns wrapped in cheap slogans. Be the citizen who demands character over charisma. Be the friend who tells the truth even when it costs you followers. Be the spouse who listens, not lectures. Be the parent who teaches principles and discipline instead of victimhood. George Washington was not a saint. He was not perfect. But in that moment, he became immortal. Not because he conquered, but because he controlled himself. And if that kind of self-control was good enough to build a nation, then maybe it is good enough to build a better you. And that, my friends, is your Monday morning motivation.